I've really been taking a really close look at my life here lately, and I'm really starting to understand things a whole lot differently. In a household, there should be two parents. If a household only needed one parent, then it would only take one person to make a child. But since that's not the case, a household needs two parents. And if you don't have both parents in a household, it creates a void. The role of a father in the household is to provide protection. He is to provide guidance. He is to provide, or to be a provider. The role of a mother in the house is to nurture and to bring balance. So as I keep looking back on my life to try to understand how I wound up in the position that I'm in now, I understand that growing up, because my father passed on at such an early stage in my life, I didn't get the guidance aspect of having my father. Now, my mother guided me as best as she could, but she couldn't guide me as a boy child the way my father could have guided me. And that is part of the reason that I do things the way that I do. Now, balance she was able to offer me, and I appreciate that balance, because now that I am a husband and I have two daughters, I do understand what that balance was able to bring to the table within my marriage, because it offers me an opportunity to understand my wife and my two daughters better, so I don't freak out when they do things differently from the way that I would do it. Having a son has also taught me the value of not only having a father, but being a father. And when we talk, I hear in him the things that I hear from my friends who had their fathers. He's planning things. He's thinking ahead, because what I've done is I've tried to teach him from my mistakes. I've tried to give him my wisdom and show him, hey, you know, there are several ways to do A, B, C, but I already did them that way, and maybe you should try X, Y, Z. And when we have discussions, and I often talk to him about his future and understanding, you know, and him understanding what he needs to do and how he needs to plan his steps. And when I talk to him, I hear my lessons in him. And I appreciate that. You know, even if you're in a house with a man in a family setting and there's children and a wife in the house, even if the man isn't the greatest, maybe he's going through his own personal struggles, maybe he's having a difficult time with finances, or maybe he's got some other issues, but as long as he's not being abusive physically or emotionally, or as long as he's not a raging alcoholic or drug addict, him being in that house, his presence alone brings that element that is missing. See, society understands that fathers, especially in African American households, that fathers are essential, which is why they work so hard to keep us from being there. Which is why when you watch the news that black men are always under fire, because if we're there, we offer something that is not being offered if it's just the mother. And I'm telling you, if a father is in a household, it makes every member in that household dangerous. And I'm not talking about dangerous in a violent sort of way. I'm talking about dangerous on an intellectual level. So for all of my young people out there that are considering jumping into parenthood at such an early age, fresh out of high school, or whenever you think that you might want to do it, reconsider that. Because if you don't do this properly, all you're doing is exaggerating a situation that's already bad. Okay, we have enough broken households. We have enough households where the child or children are growing up with one parent. We don't need that anymore. We need two parents. And if you don't have two parents in a household and there are children in that household, you are really cheating those children out of a very strong future.